I'm here with Kevin of Myrath to talk about Wilderness of Mirrors out March 27th on Ear Music. Pleasure to see you. Pleasure to talk to you about this new record. How's things going with you?
I'm in the middle of logistical boring stuff like renting tour buses, hotels, flights, all the kind of stuff a musician don't want to do, but it's necessary because we have to tour. So
The part that's
during
not so much fun.
no, not so much fun to do this kind of stuff, but when we will be on stage, it will be an
Will be worth it.
accomplishment. So
Yeah, it will definitely be worth it. Speaking from someone who saw you guys at Prog Power a couple of years ago, and that was my first time ever seeing the band live, I was blown away by the performance. So whatever work you're doing, it's definitely pays off. And as a fan, we definitely appreciate it.
thank you very much.
So let's talk about Wilderness of Mirrors. When you guys are getting ready to record a new record or to work on a new record like this one, do you have similar starting points from a creative standpoint, or each record offers you a new opportunity for a fresh new start?
Um, I think that from a musician perspective, each album allow us to try to be a better musician. Let me try to explain myself. Um, as a musician, the more I discover about new musics, for example, Indian music, African music, American music, or whatever, I realize that uh, I'm missing a lot of knowledge to understand what music is all about. So between each album, I try and we try to improve ourselves, and um, so that's why the new album contain different material and different stuff we tried, and it has been a hard process because, for example, and maybe we will talk about this later, but for example about the songs of funeral, it took us 4 years to understand how African music was working. And it's an iterative process where we fail a lot, we throw a lot of material, and we try to improve ourselves as a musician.
One of the things, this applies to every record, but when I was listening to this album, the music is so rich. There's so many textures sonically from an atmospheric standpoint, even when it comes to the vocals and the impact that the vocals have with the lyrics. It just seems to me like there's so many moving pieces. But the experience as a listener, it's one of ease. I don't feel like this record specifically. I don't feel like the record burdens me as a listener. It's such an easy album to listen to, considering how much is in it. How do you go from having so many elements within the sound, and at the same time creating such a simple experience for the listener?
I have no clue, but what I can tell you is the common point around all the music from Myrath is that we start composing the same way in a minimalist approach. What I A song from my perspective is something that you can do, that you can play with a regular piano or a regular guitar, putting a voice on top of it. And if you can end with something that is working just with a piano and a vocal, maybe it will be a song. Maybe it will become a song. So the root of each Mira songs is this minimalist approach with two instruments. That's it. And after this work, I try to start the arrangement process with all the tools I have at disposal. And the tools are like colors, like violin is a tool to express a certain kind of emotion. Choir is a tool. A saz, a guitar, a darboka, or whatever are tools. And depending on the emotion we want to put in a specific moment of the song to emphasize, for example, the theme or the lyrics, I will use a specific tool. And sometimes this tool will not work. Sometimes it will be too much. So I need to remove this tool. Sometimes I forget to put another tool, another color in a specific moment of the song. So going back and forth, I try stuff. 80% of the time it's not working. And suddenly, sometimes it's working, so I keep it. And of course, I try to do this with a lot of introspection, like asking myself, is it good enough or is it what I wanted to do? Um, and sometimes it's working. So that's why, for example, we throw away 80% of the material. So it's a long process.
Wow, that's it's I mean the beauty of it is that you guys at the end of the day make it seem very seamless. The when I'm listening to Wilderness of Mirrors, there is this beautiful soundscape on every single song that just allows you to immerse yourself in that experience and completely lose track of time, lose track of what's going on. Um, a very well done, I would say, movie score style approach. Are you a fan of that sort of experience, creating a sonic landscape for the listener to completely immerse and lose themselves into it?
I love movie music. I mean, I starting to learn about movie music with John Williams, that is really famous with Star Wars, with Jurassic Park. And I discovered that some modes like Lydian mode, Phrygian mode, Mixolydian mode, this kind of stuff, allow you to push further the preciseness of the intention of the emotion you want to put in a specific part. And it's like tools and it need practice, it need knowledge, but it's like when you write a book, if you only know 10 words, you can't describe precisely emotions. If you know 1 million words, it will be easier for you to express specific emotion. And with music, it's exactly the same thing. The more you learn about music, about theory of music, the more you will be able to put the right note at the right moment.
You almost become a music scientist. Is that what you're saying?
Um, that's strange because I call my recording studio a lab. So
So I think we're on the same wavelength because it seems such a daunting process. Is it daunting or now the better you get at it, the easier it becomes?
uh, no, I think it's even more complicated now because the the side effect of having so much tool is to be able to find the time to take the good one. It's like playing with a 100 chords guitar, for example, would be difficult. And for me, it's the same issue. I mean, I'm starting to have a lot of tool at my disposal, so I try not to lose myself. Uh, and it's even more difficult. I mean, every um, Myrath album has been difficult, and this one has been maybe the most difficult album to compose. Even if it sounds seamless, but when you are in the composing process, it's a real nightmare.
What are the biggest challenges like an album like Wilderness of Mirrors have thrown at you this time around?
Uh, Several songs has been really difficult. I mean, when I say really difficult, um, I was supposed to release the funeral for the previous album, Karma, and we it took 2 more years to be able to finish this song because of the level of complexity. Um, because we put it a lot of major scales and using major scales without ending with something which is cheesy is really, really difficult, even more than using minor scales or this kind of stuff. So I needed a lot of iteration and a lot of stuff didn't work. It didn't work. Yeah, 4 years of hard work on this song, plus 200 elements, a lot of choirs, violin, trumpets, trombones, um, all the pianos, everything. Even my computer almost collapsed because of this song.
You need an upgrade.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you definitely need an upgrade by the next record because you learned something new with this one. So by theory, if we're going to go that things get more difficult because you learn more, by the next one you need a bigger computer.
Yeah, I think so.
I think you're going to need a bigger one. Until the end is such a great collaboration with Elise Reed. How did that partnership between you guys got formed? What was the thought process on having her guest vocaling on that track?
Um, Quite funny. 4 years ago, Zaher, our lead singer, asked me, Kevin, I would love to do a duet with Elise because I respect Elise as a singer and she's technically out of this world, and I love her tessiture. And I told, like, I'm a pragmatic man, so I told her there she will never accept to do this kind of stuff. She don't give a shit about you or whatever. But he insists a lot, like Kevin, I want this duet, I want this duet, I want this duet. So one day, it was a Sunday morning, I texted on Instagram, "Hello, Elise. I'm Kevin from Myrath. We would love you to. We would love to work with you on a song." And she answered like 2 minutes after my message, and she told me, "I'm your number one fan since Taylor the Sun. So let's stop. Uh, uh, let's stop talking. Let's book me a flight. I'm coming to Denmark, and let's do it together." So when she told me this, I stopped the composing process of Until the End, and I stopped the arrangement of Until the End to be sure that I could allow Elise to have a maximum of room to make her stuff. I mean, I didn't want it to give her some direction. I know that she's a genius musician, and so I told Elise, do whatever you want on this song. I'm convinced it will work. And it happened this way.
Is it easier to work with someone like her on a track, or is a track like does a track like that become easier because there's a portion of that track that depends on her, not on you, or does that even make it more difficult because now you have an outside source coming in and having input on one of the songs?
That's the precise reason why I stopped composing. All the verses, I told her, I'm confident with what you are gonna do. Do your stuff. I will not judge, and I'm sure it will be awesome. But if you start to intellectualize that, like you want to, for example, if I wanted to uh, handle all the process, uh, it would have it would have been risky to do it. But if you are telling yourself, okay, I trust this singer, she's awesome, she will maybe do something that I'm not comfortable with, but it will create something out of nowhere. And that was a process. Do your stuff, it will work. I'm confident. So it was very, very easy.
Speaking of singers, I mean, you have a phenomenal singer in the band. Working with incredible, talented singers, does that make your job easier?
Um, no, because I'm still very picky, especially with Zaire. I know that he's capable to do some stuff he even don't know he's capable of. So I'm pushing hard. I'm kind of pain in the ass with him just to be sure that he provide the best he could. So of course it's easier working with Zaire than with a singer which, for example, tessiture would be smaller or this kind of stuff. So it's easier, but still I try to push hard on him to be sure that he provides something awesome. I mean,
I know some bands worry about the expectations that fans will have on a new record, but I get the feeling like you worry less about what fans' expectations are, and you worry a lot more about your own expectations.
for the first time in my life, I stopped to be afraid. Maybe because now I have a young daughter, and my priority in life changed a bit. But in all Myrath's career, except Wilderness of Mirrors, uh, we were afraid, like scrolling when the album is released to be sure that people like you, and if they don't like you, you are sad and this kind of stuff. That's a human process because you are doing music also for people. But this time, to be honest, the approach was so introspective that I'm not telling you that I don't care. I mean, fans are precious and we are thankful to have fans, but the approach was 100% introspective. Like we did music for ourselves. Whatever happened, if people complain, okay, they will complain. But we are confident with what we are doing, what we are doing.
And you should be. I feel you guys are one of those bands that every record you're elevating the bar of what the previous album did, and you're pushing that bar higher and higher and higher. You put yourselves as on that scale, and I thought this album. I'm like, I think I've heard everything that you guys have ever done. And then you guys released this album, or it's going to be released. I got a chance of listening to it already, and I'm like, wow, like where do they keep pulling this stuff from that it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, better and better? It's incredible. You guys are one of a kind.
We try to uh, I mean as a musician, once again, it's really important to practice and to try to improve yourself. I mean, some musicians are saying that what they are doing is enough, and maybe it's good. Some musicians are doing, are trying to mimicate what they previously did to be sure to keep a specific amount of fans or whatever. But my goal is to improve myself. So maybe the approach is different. I don't know.
I gotta ask you a question about live music, but I'm gonna segue into that by saying like I mentioned earlier, I saw you guys at Prague Power. You were the headlining on the last day of the festival. My son and I, we were there. We were so tired, so we were like, you know what? We'll watch two songs and we'll go to the hotel. We gotta catch an early flight tomorrow. We stay for the whole set. There's no way after the first two songs we're walking out. Like we were completely blown away. So my question to you is how much of that live experience plays a role in what you guys create when it comes to the studio?
Good question. Regarding Wilderness of Mirrors, zero, because the approach was introspective. But that's true that each time we do a show, we get feedback from people. And of course, we can see faces of people. And some songs, people are happy. Some songs, some people don't know the band or don't understand what we are doing. So, in a way, it influenced our approach of composing music. And it has been, to be really honest, it has been the case for all Myrath's album except the last one. So we will see.
Are you intrigued by how this album will, or some of the songs on this album, how they're going to play out live? Is that something that now that the album is almost out, is there something you're thinking about?
I'm not intrigued. We started working hard on playing the song. What I can tell you is that the songs are really difficult to play, but we need to control this and to be as good as we can on stage. It will work. Uh, the funeral will be really difficult because there are a lot of parts to play, and it's a progressive song with a lot of tempo change and this kind of stuff. Um, but we will make it, and we will try to sound as close at the album, and in the same way to add something organic to the stage. And we are actually working on that to make it happen.
Is that an important aspect for you to add something new on stage so that it gives the song kind of its own DNA for that specific for
Uh,
the performance?
yeah, of course, because a song is about something you are telling to the people about lyrics. And we spend a lot of time on this album on the lyrics and on the meaning of each word and on the meaning of what we wanted to express. So, in the context of a live performance, you want to tell a little bit more about stuff behind the lyrics. And so you are going to create a direction between the audience and yourself. And that's what live is all about. It's not just playing the song and finish your set. It makes no sense. You need to involve even more the people in the in your thinking process, in the composing process, to make them understand why you did a specific song. I'm thinking about the song "The Clown," for example. Um, there, our singer is facing for many years depression. Unfortunately, he's still fighting against depression, and the clown is about his life, simply his life on stage, feeling that when he's bad, he's acting like a clown on stage and leaving all this messy life behind and trying still to entertain people, even if sometimes it's even more difficult. And of course, he will provide information about his way of thinking, about about him struggling, and him trying to fix himself. Uh, Again, in a ultra introspective approach. And live is about exchanging, making people understand what is the meaning of the purpose of the song.
Are you comfortable allowing other people to see a little bit more of who you are through your music, not just the artist, but the person?
Maybe now, yes, maybe we are ready. Um, Sometimes, as a musician, you tend to hide a lot of stuff about your emotion, but maybe trying to hide would make your music less organic. And the day you stop to hide yourself, maybe people will understand even more the purpose of your music. So, from my point of, I stopped to hide myself, and Zaire definitely stopped and started to speak out loud, uh, starting from Karma, about his struggling, his addiction issues, and all the stuff, and beginning to talk about the issues has been a starting point for him to fix these issues. So it's important for us also.
Wow, it's really interesting to hear this from you. The album offers a phenomenal journey. I want to finish our conversation on that topic. And I'm a fan of a record format and really engaging with the album from the first song to the last song. I'm not a huge fan of singles. I really like to listen to an album in the context of an album. I feel like you get a lot more, not just out of the individual songs, but obviously you get a lot more out of what the whole record holds. How much work, how much time do you guys spend on creating that album experience?
4 years, maybe, because we started 2 years before Karma, and we spent 2 extra years to record this album. So it's a 4 years process, and maybe even more because some ideas we composed those little parts 10 years ago, but we were not confident with it, and we didn't add the music vocabulary
Mhm.
to be sure that we could make this the right way. So some parts are 10 years old, but 90% of the process took 4 years. Yes.
Wow. Wow. That is insane amount of work. Kevin, thank you for your time. I know you're super busy, so I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me about the band, about Wilderness of Mirrors. The album comes out March 27th on Ear Music. It's another Myrath masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. You guys are one of the best, if not the best live band I've ever seen perform in my life. Like you guys blew me away. We had like a 6 a.m. flight. We stayed there until the show finished because we are like, I'm not missing
Thank you.
one second. I'm not missing 1 second of such a an experience. It's really something that you have to see live in order to understand. Listening to the record does not do it justice.
Thank you very much, and we try the best we can.
You guys are incredible, incredible. Don't listen to anybody that says anything otherwise. You guys are phenomenal. Thank you for giving us a new album, and all the best.
Thank you very much, Pedro. See you.
Take care. Bye bye.